as I am noticing her, I was dating someone else. That's why I said there's no way to decorate the story of...
Yes, there's no way to decorate that. Because it was tough. My God. You start from 6 to 6.
What are you doing?
Picking mangoes.
These mangoes have followed you. These mangoes have followed you.
Sorting out mangoes. The secretary, hello, I'm calling you from Kavian. You are invited for an interview. I'm like, me? What interview? Okay, so I prepared myself for that day for the interview and I went. I remember going to the HR and asking her, what interview am I here for? And she advised me, this is what you will say and this is what you will do. We just decided to give you a chance, but you have to go through the process. God's favor.
Wow.
And that is why now, to bring you to the point where when he was approaching me, I was feeling like we don't match. This guy was doing his masters in India.
And so I knew the disparity in academic qualification might one day be a play out in the kind of arguments we have inside marriage.
Yes.
We may be arguing over this glass of water and she'll be like, is it because you think I am not educated, I'm not learned, all that. And so I always knew in my heart that when God makes it possible, I have to see her finish that, pursuing that dream. Now that she's passionate about it, I'm not the one who is pushing her. Like, you have to go back to school so that you can get to my level.
Oh, yeah.
So I always knew that that will happen. I just didn't know that it will happen that quick.
That quick.
Yeah.
Hi guys and welcome back. This is the Rodah Kidula show. If you're new here, please subscribe to this show, and we invite you to this community that believes that God is still working in our marriages. People are thriving in healthy marriages in this generation, and that is what we celebrate on the Rodah Kidula show. Thank you so much, JK Studios. They do an amazing job in recording our shows, and you can follow them on social media as well, so that anytime you need photography or videography, you know where to go to. If you're having a wedding, please invite JK Studios to do your photography and videography. They do an amazing job, and I'm looking forward to renewing my vows. I need another gown to just have good wedding photos from JK Studios. I'll share that story one day. There's a friend of mine who keeps telling me, one day we need to interview you. You keep dropping stories here and there. So I'll talk to someone to interview me one of these days. So today I'm excited as well because we have an amazing couple on set with us, and I will give them the honor of introducing one another. They just look so young and fresh and, and in love. So today we begin with the man. Please introduce your wife.
Hi, my name is Pastor Felix, and I want to introduce my wife. There's this story I usually give. She doesn't like it of introducing her, but it's true, so why not? The other day when some angels came to visit in Muranga, it was in the news. Yeah, and they stayed for a while, and when they were going back, fortunately or unfortunately, one of them was left behind. And I was fortunate enough to marry her.
By then I was confused. I'm like, Rodah, how are you going to talk about angels that you never saw in the news or in Muranga? Oh, God. So she's one of the angels.
So this is my angel, Tracy Joe, and the mother of my very beautiful daughter. And I'm very blessed and privileged to have been married to this beautiful heart, beautiful soul, beautiful mind, beautiful face, beautiful everything.
She's blushing.
Yeah, we've been married for the last 5 years and counting. Will be 6 years this December.
Awesome.
Yep.
Wow. Will you top that?
I don't know where to start after such an introduction.
Please introduce your man to us.
Wow. This is my blessed gift, a man that I don't know how to describe. God has used him to show me love on this world that is full of all manner of things. I have seen him loving me as Christ have commanded the husband to love the wife. And I love him and I appreciate him and I honor him. His name is Pastor Felix Joe. Felix Joe minus Pastor is Felix. Or babe, I call him babe all the time. Mistakenly, I can even call you babe when we are talking because I'm used to calling him always babe. So kika vibaya pia we nashtuka nadhani ni babe tuko na yeye. And I appreciate God for him and I love him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wonderful, a beautiful couple. He's a pastor. What do you do?
He's a pastor. He's a medic. I'm a media personality.
Oh, awesome. So
Yes.
in the media space.
Yes.
When you said he's a pastor and medic, I wanted to ask, how do doctors feel when we say, Hata madaktari was saying, we will not believe the report of the doctor. You are both.
Yeah.
We are not believing your report. I always feel for them. They have tried their best.
No, my case is different because, first of all, I have believed the report of the Lord. So the report that I'm giving you is also the report of the Lord. So you have to believe both.
Oh, you have to believe both.
Yes.
Oh, that was just a by the way. I want to know who saw who first.
I don't know who saw the other first, but I spoke first after we saw each other.
Really? Okay. Do you remember when you saw her first?
Yes.
To tell us that story so that she knows if she's the one who saw you first. Just seeing, not
just
seeing.
Now, there is no way to decorate the story of how I saw her because I just saw her. I was going to preach somewhere I had preached in our church and I was going to preach somewhere in a crusade. And among the people who were joining me to go and preach, she was there. And I happened to notice this tall, beautiful girl. But now it so happens, as I am noticing her, I was dating someone else. That's why I said there's no way to decorate the story.
Yes, there's no way to decorate that. Because we believe when you are dating, you should not see us. Don't see me. Focus.
Yeah, so we went and we preached, and I kept the matter in my heart. And I said, I'm not going to pursue it. I have noticed, I have appreciated. She's a beautiful girl.
Yeah.
Blessed is the man who will be fortunate enough to marry her. And then later on, things didn't work out in that relationship I was in. And flash forward after the usual time of heartbreak and healing, the Lord reminded me of a girl that I had seen.
Yes. And she's a member of your church.
Yes. She's a member of my church. But I hadn't noticed her until that time. Yes.
When is the first time you saw him?
Wow. So on that particular day when he was going to preach out for that crusade, as he said, he had started with preaching in church. What he didn't say is he had come from outside the country. He was studying in India. So he had just come for a short break. So I was new in the church. I had just joined the church. So I didn't know much about him. But then when he was preaching, he was talking big. And then, I remember one statement that offended me. He was introducing himself and then he was telling the church, now my wedding is nearer than I first
Than when I first believed.
And then I'm like, this guy, you preach. Who want to hear about
your relationship?
And so I was just, he finished preaching very powerfully. And then me, I wanted to just go home after church. Then a friend of mine called Melody. I know she will watch.
Yeah.
She was like, unaenda home. But Pastor Felix anaenda, that time they were calling him Minister Felix. Tunampeleka crusade.
Yeah.
See you to join. But then I was like, every girl is taking this guy. Kwani?
Yeah. Who is
everyone wanted to go for that crusade.
Yeah.
Then I said, okay, let me just join them. But I just joined like ish. Then we went. So when we went to that crusade, this intercessor who, when a pastor is preaching, we are out in a crusade, I'll be interceding. So I stood at one point and I was just interceding because I wasn't very much friendly with I was new, so I didn't have a group like friends. So I was just there interceding. And so that is the first time I saw him in church and at that crusade ground. Yeah.
So you basically saw each other on the same day. You are not interested.
Okay, so every girl is after this guy. I didn't even know he was
supporting Minister Felix.
They were supporting the ministry.
They were supporting, but
standing with the ministry.
You could see. Women always know. We know.
So me, I didn't want to be part of that clique.
Yeah,
I was
scrambling for Minister Felix.
God,
Who is telling people the wedding is sooner
than he first believed. So me, I was just focused and I was looking unto God. Tunaenda mbinguni, going to heaven.
Interested in marriage at this point?
I was still kind of young. I was feeling I was young in my own thinking. I was feeling I still have time. So
it's not the time.
Yeah, so I was just moving
Wazazi wamesema, the parents have said not time for boys or men. So you are the one who first spoke.
Yes. Later when I was praying, after all this have happened, I have been heartbroken, I have healed from the heartbreak, I'm ready to move on now. So I went to pray. And as I was praying, I was asking God, show me the person who is supposed to be my wife.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because I was praying in the church compound. And when I am praying, I hear the voice of God say, open your eyes. And I opened my eyes and looked outside. And there she was walking into the church compound.
How did you pray? How did... Seriously?
Yes.
Then you went and told her, God has told me?
No.
Oh, thank
I told her actually she would never know what God told me. Because I don't want her to commit to me thinking that she must because the Lord has spoken. I wanted the love that I show her to be the reason why she commits or she doesn't commit. If it doesn't measure up to what she wants, then she doesn't have to commit. But I was sure because once you have heard the voice of God, then you know it will happen no matter what. And that's what I usually tell young people, that you don't have to go and threaten the girl with "thus says the Lord." Because if that says the Lord, then it will happen. And so when I was sure now it is her, I went and wrote the qualities of the woman that I was looking for. And I came and brought her the piece of paper.
Now you're friends.
First, imagine the first, official, not date, in church.
Meeting. Let's just call it a meeting.
Yes. I wrote it on a piece of paper and I brought it to her and I told her, I am looking for this girl. Once you find her, let me know.
Okay. You know kumkatia.
Imagine.
I just had to say, those are your lines.
Yes. But then looking at that piece of paper, it was describing me. Like nilishtuka.
When I was there? Was it physical or
not physical? How would I even describe it? And funny enough, now 2 weeks before, I had dreamt with such an incident, but I didn't understand how it would be or how it would turn out. So when he showed me that paper, first of all, I was numb. I'm like, okay, am I still dreaming? And what is happening here? And then the paper is describing me like quality, not physically. Even things I'm like, okay, who have told this guy these things? So I just went away. I didn't say anything. I just walked
she ran away.
I walked
How long did she run away?
For some time. For some time, because the last time I mean, after that, the next time I called her for a date, she didn't even show up. She was still running away.
We need to know why.
I was scared. Like, okay, this guy,
He's a pastor.
and he's not. I was seeing him up there,
Yeah.
and then me, I was feeling I'm still a small girl. I was going through my own issues. I was in a desert. A story for another day. I was going through issues, and I was like, no way. And also, I had come from a very messy breakup.
Oh.
Very messy. So I didn't want anything closer to that. And then the way I had seen so many girls wanting him, I wasn't ready for such fights. I wanted peace.
But he has chosen you.
I know, but I was like, is this guy even serious? Does he even know me? Like, okay. And then the way he's preaching, me and this man.
No.
Me, you know, I love being a free person, like free person. But then, yeah.
So
Time over time.
finally she showed up.
Yes, finally she showed up. Was it a...
This is what you told me. Either you wrote a text, I'm not sure. You said, today is my last day in Kenya.
Yes.
Oh.
But if you still...
If you are still interested in the Uji date.
It was Uji. So I'm like, okay, this guy is too tough.
Yeah.
Imagine that he's calling me for a date for Uji. I'm like, I don't even like Uji.
Who doesn't like Uji?
Oh, I don't. I don't like Uji. But then that's him.
Yeah.
He will not try to decorate anything. He's just the way you see him, that's
what
how
you get.
he is. He won't try to pretend anything. So when he said, this is my last day in Kenya, that's when I felt something.
He is leaving.
I remember I was washing clothes in my small house, the single rooms for single ladies. I left them in the bucket
And went for Uji.
and said, hey, the last day, hey, let me go and see what this man want to tell this guy.
Yeah.
And when I went for that date, wow, hey, it was like we've always been together. The conversation flowed. I remember we almost got late, like in that hotel, they were almost closing.
Yes.
And you were just talking.
Talking, everything was flowing. And that was the beginning of a great friendship up to now. And
they have taken the friendship too far. Now they are married.
and the conversation started from there. And, I believe that friendship is a very strong foundation for marriage. In my opinion, it would even transcend love as we know it.
Oh, yes.
That friendship will be more important in marriage than love. And a friend to me is that person that you can have a conversation with for hours without an agenda.
Oh.
So here I am traveling the following week to India. I am there. We have that short, it's not a very long time difference. It's about 2.5 hours. But it's a lot, because that would mean that around 7 p.m. in Kenya, there it's 9:30 p.m. So if she has to come from work and do everything, and then we have a conversation, my time, it will be running into midnight, 1 a.m.
Yes.
And we used to have those conversations for hours and hours and hours. And it's an international call. And you don't mind.
You don't mind investing.
You don't mind that you're investing in it because of the friendship and the quality of the talk that you're having.
You haven't mentioned anything about physical attraction. Especially you who is smiling. Because, yes, God has said. Yes.
That time I didn't even know that God has said.
Yes.
Actually, he gave me the story way after we were married. Now that's when he gave me the story. But yes, I was physically attracted to this guy. So what I came to accept later is that I was in denial, the fact that I wouldn't want to love him and then Nikki fail because this guy is too hot.
Wait, this is the pastor you're talking about.
Yes, my guy.
Hot and pastor. You say he's a fearfully and wonderfully made. You use verses.
No way, we are in this world. Yeah, so like, wow.
You know, some ladies are also afraid of hot men.
Me, I'm not afraid.
And we started this conversation by her saying all women were running after.
Yeah, for that, maybe for that reason. So I was attracted to this guy. Man, I was looking at him and like, say, like everything is perfect. Perfect preaching, perfect dressing, perfect. When he starts speaking, you will want to listen to him over and over again. I was like, all in one person.
Yes.
Hey, God. Yes, so I was physically attracted to him. Yes, and I still am. Every day, sometimes I keep on telling
Have you guys changed your physical appearance?
Not so much.
Marriage
for me, maybe adding like 10 kgs. So that's not much.
Okay.
You send me a photo, I will decide if they have changed. So for you, the feelings, the emotional feelings started coming in.
Oh yes, and there's this time I went and I'm mesmerized by the beauty of this girl, and I'm going to tell her, "Oh, you're so beautiful." You know what she said? I know.
Hey, my dear.
A confidence. I know.
Yeah. There's a part in when you're dating before marriage, you're all putting your best foot forward.
Yes, and that really even attracted me more when you find somebody who has this confidence.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you find somebody who is just looking for you to validate them. And when you find that, then it becomes an emotional drain all the time because you have to keep feeding into this because without you, then there is no confidence at all.
Oh, yes.
So you have to wake up in the morning and remind them that they are beautiful and remind them everything that you value about them, and they draw their value from you. But when you find somebody who has that self-value and self-worth and confidence, then it's very easy to love that person because you don't have to like climb mountains to make this person feel loved.
Oh, yes.
They already have something, you're just topping up. And it's like they already come with bread. You just have to butter it. But when somebody comes, they don't have the bread, they don't even know the shop for the bread, they don't have the butter, they don't know where you can buy butter in that town. It becomes so draining and so difficult to sustain such a relationship.
Because now they're depending on you instead of God.
Yes.
Oh, tell us the time now you spoke officially. Did you start with asking to be girlfriend or you went straight to wife?
We don't do girlfriend boyfriend things.
Yeah.
We do courtship and marriage.
So when you're courting, what do you call each other?
Babe.
Who is babe? If I ask you, who is babe?
You see, boyfriend, girlfriend, in my opinion, I may be wrong, is a situation where you want to relate with this person to find out if they are compatible or not. But in my case, I have begun from knowing that this is the person. So whether they are compatible or not, it is up to me to make it work. Because I know this is the person. And that's a very important factor when you begin with the voice of God. You're not trying things out. You're not trying to see if things will work or not. You're trying to build on that sure confidence that you have that this is the person. And so I remember we were having an overnight kesha, an overnight crossover meeting in church, 31st of December 2017. And we usually have this prophetic word to guide us for the year. And this is after she has experienced her heartbreak, and I have experienced my heartbreaks. And,
capital S.
Underline.
And there is the man of God, our Bishop Titus Mbai, announcing at exactly midnight. That's how he normally does it.
Yeah.
Announcing at exactly midnight. The word that the Lord told me for this coming year, 2018, shall be the year of laughter. Wow. And amazingly, he called me to the altar and used me to demonstrate laughter and asked me to laugh. Initially, I began laughing on my own.
Yes.
Then the Holy Spirit took over.
Oh.
And I was lying down on that floor for like an hour.
Laughing.
And almost an hour and a half. People left and they went home and they left me on the altar laughing.
Okay,
you can even go to YouTube and check that video. You will find it there. The Crossover Night 2017. And I was there laughing. And when I woke up, I knew that indeed this is the year that I am going to laugh at all those heartbreaks, at all those pains, at all those wrong choices I had made previously. And when I went to her the following morning to say that this is the year, she already had a confirmation also.
Wow.
Yeah. So we just started planning out our wedding. Yes.
Ooh.
That's how we moved from courtship now.
True.
He wanted to marry me in April.
Yes.
I said, no, give me time.
Time to do what?
I was like, this guy's moving too fast.
Yeah.
Like, we're in January and he's saying April. I'm like,
Because
he's allowing me to just finish being a girl, you know? I don't know what I was expecting. And like, maybe I thought when I jump right into marriage, life is going to change and all that. So I was like, I feel like I have not finished being a girl, being a single lady. Allow me to have this year to myself. So we set the date to be on December 1st.
December 1st.
So we had the whole year now to just plan the wedding and enjoy our single.
And you told me you had a very beautiful wedding.
Yes, it was.
I don't like that answer. I'm more confident in your wedding than you. What went wrong?
No, nothing went
There's
wrong.
nothing that went wrong, but
At
you
least
see,
you got married.
yes,
That is the most important.
Not at least. Yes, we got married.
we got married and God beautified the wedding. We didn't have much that we were budgeting with, but God had his own way of making the wedding beautiful. Actually, that thing was miraculous in a lot of ways. The people from my family believe that I got a huge support from my church. And the people in church believe that I got a very huge support from my family.
Yeah.
They all don't know where the support came from.
Nobody knows where the support came from. God just beautified it, and it was so. It was the most beautiful wedding I've ever had, because
It has to be. It has to be the most beautiful one you've ever had.
yes. I don't know whether it's because it's the only one, but
It's the only one. And if you were to change anything, the planning and the actual date?
oh, we would change a lot. We would do it bigger.
Ooh.
Yes.
You know, everyone... Is it everyone? I think so. You're the first one to say you would do it bigger.
Oh, yes.
Everyone, including me, we always feel like, we could do without those flowers.
Yeah.
We could do without. Why would we? Especially after 5 years plus in marriage, you're like, so why would you do it bigger?
The only thing we would probably work on towards changing is we will not do it on the 1st of December. We would, because it rained.
Oh.
Yeah, it rained.
It's a rainy season.
Actually, I was preparing myself with my best man, and we had prayed for like 2 weeks that it will not rain. And here I am preparing myself with my best man, and he's telling me, my best man is a pastor also. It's called Reverend Peter Kamau. And he was there telling me, the Lord has really blessed you. You see, it's even raining on your wedding day. And I'm like,
no.
I hadn't even noticed the rain until that time. I'm looking outside and, no.
It rained the whole day.
It rained the entire time when we were in church.
Oh.
It only gave us a short break to go
Dance.
into the photo session and the reception. And then as soon as we were done with the reception, again the rains came. But then you see, once it rains, there's mud. My wife had a very beautiful wedding dress. We had imported it
My dream girl.
with a long train. And so you can imagine what that happens when it's raining and there is mud everywhere.
But I always see people dancing in the
Yeah,
rain.
we still dance.
And I
enjoy
always
it.
feel like it's this beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
and there's mud on the.
Yes,
gown.
the ladies enjoy that up until you get to the reception, and I don't know who tells people to come and pick up all that train and put it around the group.
Even with the mud, they put it around you. So we have joined you. It is to symbolize unity.
So like, I guess I think we had to skip that part because I couldn't imagine that.
on your neck. Oh.
Yeah.
But it must have been a beautiful day.
So the reason why we would do it bigger is because people are losing confidence in marriage every day.
Yes.
And now I've gotten married to this girl, and I know now the blessing that I got in my house.
Yeah.
And I would want to celebrate that blessing in a bigger way and let the world know that marriage works.
Yeah.
And when you are led by God, it is possible. You can do it and you can win.
So the bigger, the better.
The bigger the testimony, the better. The more glory you give to God.
Amen.
Yes.
I
And you see
love
now,
that.
in that time, there's some aspects that I hadn't known about her. But right now that I know who I have and the blessing that God has given me, I would want to lavish everything on that blessing.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
What was your biggest shock in marriage? You.
Me?
You're now a wife. You've postponed
Shock.
it from April. Now it's December. You're now a wife.
I have been married. Now
Yes.
I'm in the house.
Year one.
Okay. Not one that I can remember. I wasn't shocked much because you see this guy, we've entered into marriage as friends. I've never had those things I hear people say at the expectations. This man this man expects me to do this. We just flow with life. He has never put any pressure on me. Do this. No, I've had it smooth. I wasn't shocked. I don't know. I don't have any in mind.
Hey, it just flowed. Year
just
one was,
flowed.
you know, they write books and say year one. If you survive.
Actually, that time you were hosting 50 years of marriage.
Yes, yeah.
And I was watching those things, and I remember asking him, "Are we real?"
People are fighting out here.
The things I'm hearing. So somehow I kept waiting for this reality to dawn on us, and until today, by the I'm still waiting.
No, don't wait. It's not
so,
there.
so I can give a different testimony that God is able to change. It doesn't have to be like everyone says. It doesn't have to follow suit. God has a different story for each one of us, for sure, without pretending. I normally tell my friends, sometimes if I'm giving my testimony for our marriage, they will think I'm faking. But I'm not faking.
Actually, anytime you are like, I'm happily married, people are just like, they are just talking. Imagine people are actually happily married.
Yes, he has never put any pressure. He's not the kind of a guy who will say, I don't eat this, cook like this. No, whatever I present to him,
serious,
he takes it with Thanksgiving. You won't even remember we ate ugali yesterday. So even if I cooked an ugali again.
There's another version. You say like, you're like, my husband asks, what have you cooked today? Then I say ugali. Then he says, ugali. You've never.
That has never
by
been.
By the way, husbands, never repeat it in that tone. Rice.
For him, whatever you bring on the table, he will take with thanks. He won't even. And sometimes I'm like, babe, I'm sorry, we are eating ugali again. I'm not even remembering we ate ugali last night. Yeah.
If she's cooking it, she's just cooking what I provided.
Oh yeah.
She's just choosing from the variety that I have made available in the house. So why would I complain?
Why? Why?
Why?
Why? Now, you have been married for 5 years. It's 5 years, a baby later. What are some of the lessons you have gathered in these 5 years that you could share with a man and tell them if you do ABCD, your marriage will be healthy?
Well, communication. Communication. And in marriage, I think you get more non-verbal cues than the verbal cues. You have to listen to what is not being said more than you listen to what is being said. Because when you find her moody, it's not just the mood. There is something that mood is communicating.
Yes.
If you find her in tears, there is something that those tears are communicating. If you find her angry, there is something the anger is communicating. So you listen more to what is not being said. And then probably don't try to solve all your problems on the same day. Just solve one at a time. Sometimes you just have to listen. You don't have to offer the solution after listening the same day. Go process something, come and talk. And learn the person that you got married to. You know, it's easier to go and buy books on marriage, to go and read everything about marriage.
Even write.
Yes, but you will never find a book on the person that you married. So there's no shortcut in that one.
There's a book on husbands, but no book on Felix.
Yes, there's no book on your particular husband, your particular wife. You have to go the long way and learn the person that you married. Find out what really moves them, what makes them tick, what do they enjoy. And that's what I call listening to the things that are not being said. And if you listen to that, you will be able to do a few things right. Yeah.
For the lady who is looking forward to marriage, with your 5 years, what would be your advice?
My advice is Jesus. Love God and take everything to him in prayer. And God will help you to learn that partner. God will show you even things that you need to do right. Sometimes maybe we're just from an argument. They happen.
Even with a pastor?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But I normally don't even remember pastor. Like, you have to put that aside.
It's
you can't run your marriage with a pastor. Babe, Pastor Felix, sometimes I'm reminded by people, Pastor Felix. You have to put titles aside and now focus on the man, the real man, because now you're dealing with real issues. But when you have Jesus, talk to Jesus more. Ask him. For example, I came from a home where I never saw a father. Same to his case. And so I never knew even how to serve a man or how to do things, because I've never seen my mother serving a man. I've never heard how they talk to a man. I don't know. So I have relied on the Holy Spirit to help me, to guide me.
God gave you a good one who doesn't also have
Hannah, those
expectations.
So I have relied solely on God. So I can. My advice to a Christian girl out there: be true to your salvation and with God. And God will help you. The Holy Spirit will instruct you, will guide you, and will also speak to him and tell him what you need to do. That is the best part of Christians. When you marry each other and you know God, and you are deep in him and you're serious, God will always communicate to you and will instruct you. So I would say that is what has helped me. And also now friendship. Please build on that. Build on friendship. I can tell him anything.
You know, that's a very valid point, because there are times that it is actually the voice of God that will solve the arguments that we have been having. I'm trying everything to make her change. She's trying everything to make me change. And then you go to pray and the Lord is rebuking you and telling you stuff. And you are like coming in the evening and you are like, you know, the Lord was telling me about this. And sometimes you don't know whether to be happy with the Lord or to be angry with the Lord, because you are like, what do you mean the Lord? I told you that in the morning, but you couldn't hear me. But it's easier and more applicable when you hear it from the Spirit of God.
Yeah.
There's something that should be trying to make me change. Only for me in my time of prayer, for God to reveal that either through the word or as a conviction in my spirit, and I'm like, yeah, I need to work on this.
Yeah. How do you maintain the friendship? Because it gets to what practical things do you two do to maintain that friendship? Because we know many married people who are also, they say they have gotten used to each other so much until they're just roommates, robots. They have friends out there at work, in church, but the two are not. What do you do?
For me, I would say our marriage is special in a way. I have no siblings. He has no siblings.
Oh.
From a single mom, from a single mom.
Really?
And I would say the friendship that I found in him, I had never. And then I was this girl who was church girl. I never had boyfriends.
But you had a heartbreak.
Okay, it's not like I never had boys friends growing up. You know the way boys friends,
hanging out with boys.
Now I didn't have that. So when I finally found him and we formed that friendship, I don't know, I treasure it so much that everywhere we go, or even among my friends, I have to keep on saying, I'm the kind of a person who keeps on saying, my husband
this, my husband that.
babe this, babe that. I think now, not even having a sister you can call to share your issues with, he becomes that brother. So he came in and filled so many gaps. The brother gap, the father gap, because now he's the only man I know
male authority
in my life. There's a time that comes and now he takes the priesthood part, and I will listen to him and I will take it from it. So he's so many things in one. And so sometimes when the brotherhood is not working, the spiritual one is working. Probably I'm going through a hardship and he's encouraging me, praying with me. When that is not working, maybe I'm like, sasa wacha tuone reality. Now the love part also will come in and play that part. So he's so many things in one, and that has kept us that when one is not working, the other one is working. Yeah.
So you're just best friends.
We are.
Whether you're mad at each other or in good terms.
Oh yes.
And perhaps I would say that is one thing I have come to appreciate in marriage, that we can be mad. Even this morning.
That's why you tell us you are late.
Because of time.
Who was late?
No, because of now time. He's a very good timekeeper.
Oh.
And he will keep on telling you,
we need to leave by
8:40. Ulisema hiyo kitu you said it's 9. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? It's 20 minutes to 9, but what do we do? We are here.
Yeah. So, even my friend called me when I was here. They're like, you've not started? I'm like, I've called my guest and she's happy. But then you are so happy. You're like, we are coming. We're running a bit late. I'm like, she's so happy, so let me just wait for her. She's so happy.
That's me. I'm the kind of a person who would just allow life to flow. Yet for him, he's putting pressure on me. So we were mad at each other, and I was like, don't tell me anything about time. Let's go. But along the way, we will just put that aside and flow. I have grown, I have matured. You know, I thought now when you get angry with each other, you have to stay dumb, not talk to each other the whole day, not eat. Nowadays we will argue, still eat together.
I think that is friendship. So because without disagreements, now that will be fake. Without disagreements, everyone disagrees.
We normally have many disagreements. Because for him, he's this kind of very organized. And me, I'm just letting life. Like now you had me laughing when we were coming. So I was telling him, you see they are setting. I told you. You just let life flow. And then he was like, sometimes you make me wonder even how to help you.
Because when I told them they're running, I said, then I can do one thing, then come. I'm like, I thought you had set up, because he always sets up 30 minutes before. So it's all good. So friendship is a gift God just gave you. Freely. And I truly appreciate. I give God the glory. You was adding something.
Yes, I was saying that some of these issues that you encounter in life, they're just like speed bumps. when you find a bump on the road, no matter how big it is, even if it is scratching your car underneath, you don't stop the journey there and say, now we have to call the mechanic and fix this. We can't go on with our journey. It has been stopped. It has been ruined. We just go over the speed bump and continue with the journey. So just because you had an argument in the morning, that doesn't mean that the whole day has to stop at that particular point. Go over the speed bump and carry on with the journey. Yeah.
You lived with an expectant woman for 9 months.
Oh, yes.
How was it?
It was glorious. It was awesome.
I don't like the way she's smiling.
I don't know. Some of these things, they don't even sound real. When I tell you that my wife didn't have cravings. Yeah. The only thing she wanted was mangoes.
That is a craving.
And I was happy to provide the mangoes because it was the season for mangoes. I love mangoes.
And mangoes are healthy.
Mangoes are healthy.
Not over expensive.
They're not over expensive. So I bought mangoes and we enjoyed the 9 months journey. And of course, you learn a few things. You learn a lot. There's a time that she can't do her shoes. You have to do that. I went and bought this. Is it red or green basin?
Red.
Yeah, you come in the evening there and you wash the feet. And a little bit of massage.
You are in a palace. This woman is in a palace. That's why you're making people feel like, I'm not married.
Not really.
You're making people feel like, they will call their husbands to watch this. They'll call them.
And we finished that journey. It was just about when COVID hit. And now we are there in the house. She has delivered. We can't have our parents come over. We don't have sisters that we can call. We don't have visitors. You can't even, we hadn't even gotten a house girl. We can't get one now because it's COVID time. And then COVID hit very close to our home. We all got it, including the baby after 1 month. And there we were, taking care of each other. We only had the 3 of us to take care of each other. And I learned how to wash baby clothes and all that.
Wash a baby?
Wash a baby.
Month.
Yeah, I actually washed the baby for the first month, I think, crossing over into about 2 months. And
this was your first time?
Yes. I didn't have siblings. This was my first time to wash the baby and all that, and until I got tired of washing the clothes, and I was like, now I appreciate what my wife does. Let me just get a washing machine and let's both rest.
Oh, yes. It's important. But you had to go through that.
Oh, yes.
I think it's also a blessing.
Yes.
Because sometimes when you get too much help, you don't bond well and you don't know your child very well.
Yeah.
So you know everything, how to wash, where everything is. So, then you became parents. How did parenting change your lives or marriage?
Wow. For me, it was the best thing that ever happened now to our marriage.
To your marriage,
I remember even when my grandmother came to see the baby and she was praying, she was saying, because in Shiro, in Tracy Wanjiro Shiro doesn't have a sibling. Now, God, you have given her a sibling. And because Nganga doesn't have a sibling, you have also given him a sibling. So, that baby became our sibling, our sister, our love, our sister. And she made our life even more beautiful. More beautiful. I love that baby. But I was careful. I had heard people saying that a baby can make you drift from your husband. For us mothers. So I was very careful not to allow her to take now that space in my heart. To make me forget my husband. But together, because he's hands-on. Every clinic there. From day one, since we discovered we were pregnant, he has been present. So it is hard for you even to ignore him. He is there. You cannot ignore him. He is there. He will help feed the baby. He will help change the baby. There's nothing he can't do. So together we have gelled, even with the baby. Imagine that girl calls us guys. Like now we are friends. That sometimes we're having our stories.
Hi, guys.
And she feels like we're ignoring her. You know the way that stage they're all over you. They won't allow you to have your time. So maybe we're having our time. And the other day she was like, guys, I'm talking to you.
Maybe I have a teenager who says bra. Hey, bra. I'm like, I'm not your brother. Yeah.
So parenthood, but now I was a student, mother, new mother, wife.
That is what brought us here.
Yes.
How?
So,
okay. Just start how that began.
Wow.
Over to you.
Okay, I'll take it to some point, and then you're best placed to explain the story. So we get married in December. On the 1st of December, we decide to do our small honeymoon, the much that we could around the country. And towards the time that we were supposed to finish that, a friend of mine calls me in India, and he says, I'm sorry I was not able to make it to your wedding. So what we want to do, my wife and I will put you and your wife on a flight. You come and finish your honeymoon in India. And we go there, and I think that was around the 19th of December. And we stayed all the way up to, I think, around the 5th of January. And when we were there, this friend of mine, he's a pastor, he helped me to build the faith that it is possible for my wife to go to school. He's called Pastor Prince Thomas. He helped me to build the faith that my wife can go to school even though we have just gotten married. So as soon as we landed, I had listened to what she would want to study, what she would want to do. She's always been passionate about journalism and communication. And so I went to KU and I asked about the course, how much it would cost the first semester, how much the registration, all that. And I made the application. I have all her details. She's my wife. I have her ID number. I have everything. So I made the application and I came back and we were waiting. So the day that she was reporting to work after the honeymoon is when I got the response back from KU. Now, I was applying for her to join in May. But they said that when the response came, there was an opening in January itself. So she...
a month in March, not even a month in March.
Yes. So she comes back in the evening, and there is the letter from Kenyatta University. She's supposed to report tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And we have not even organized the house. We're just fresh from
India.
We're just fresh from honeymoon. We haven't even unpacked the gifts that we got from our friends on the wedding day. And I sit her down and I tell her, you have always had this desire to go back to school, and tomorrow is a choice. After getting this invitation letter or the approval letter to join campus, you have about a year to 2 years to decide whether you will join or not. So you can decide tomorrow whether you're going to work or you're going to school. Over to you.
Now, I didn't say I had dropped out. I was now in my singlehood when I was going through my own issues. I had dropped out of school because of school fees issues.
That is campus
in the year 2013. So I dropped out. I was in, should I mention?
Yeah, it's okay.
MKU. So I dropped out and I started just hustling. The real hustling. I would do anything because now I don't have anyone to look up to. I've been brought up by my grandmother. Back in the village, they have had these high hopes in me, and here I am. No, the hope looks like now it's been cut off. I am out of school. I had stayed in school for 1 whole year, hoping God would make a way. Knocked every door, tried to apply help. That time, MKU had not been approved by the government, so I couldn't get help. Gone to MP's offices, those things in the village, CDFs, everything.
You have done those things.
I have gone and sat down with my MP. And the best he could do, I'm sorry, he gave me a contract to oversee a chief's camp that was being built. And I was being paid 10,000 allowance to oversee a whole chief's camp. And it was deep in the village. I would go in the morning, see the fundis, they're doing their thing. I write a report. At the end of that whole project,
you were given
10,000. I was not even given. I'm sorry. I wasn't paid.
This one we have to do. Tell Gen Z's to follow up.
I can't even mention. Right now he's a senator. I won't even
can follow up for you.
Imagine. Anyway.
What?
So like it was a dark season.
Yeah.
No door was opening. Everything looked blocked. And so I moved out of Thika and went to Nairobi. Not too much. A friend of mine in the campus introduced me to her aunt in Nairobi.
Yeah.
At that season, the aunt's house help was on a leave because of some family issues. And she was like, my aunt needs help. Would you step in? I gladly said yes. And I went and I did the work of a house help. Everything a house help does in that house. I was too small. And the people I was taking care of were big girls. They were in campus and I'm just there doing their things. They were like, oh, Tracy, what's happening? Tell us your story. And they were so pitiful. And they were like, I wish there was a way I can help you. But don't worry, God will make a way for you. All through, I was godly. So they would see this godly girl. After that, she again connected me with an aunt who owned a children's home in Machakos. They also needed someone to take care of the children in the children's home.
Yeah.
Hi, present. I went to Machakos. I stayed there. I normally tell my friend, I stayed for 3 months without going to church or to salon because I was the only caretaker in the home. You can't leave the kids alone. So like it was a lot of desert being like I was going through. I hustled there, I worked everything. You were cleaning the children, the clothes and everything and all that. And I thank God for that exposure. The children had a big sister. They all called me Big Sis. And that was enough for me to keep going. And for some time I felt it was enough. So I came back to I called my friend called Adulet, my sister, God given. And she was like, Kuja, come, don't stay there. Don't worry where to stay. Come, I'll host you. She hosted me in her house in Thika. And while I was there, another friend of hers connected me to a company in Thika called Kevian. Kevian, producer for Pick and Peel Afia juices. But the job that was on offer was casual. Like where you go, you're picked for a day. If they see your work is good, they will ask you maybe to report the following day. If they are not pleased with you, go back home. It was tough. My God. You start from 6 to 6.
What are you doing?
Picking mangoes.
These mangoes have followed you. These mangoes have followed you.
Sorting out mangoes, like sorting, there are those ripe ones and ripe, overripe. So you are sorting mangoes the whole day. I did that. I had the favor of God. So there was no day I wasn't asked to report. And while I was doing the casual work, one day I remember the HR was just walking around and she came, found me. I was cleaning a drum. Those drums for they were storing the concentrate after the machine had done the processing. I was there cleaning inside, too small, inside the drum. And then I had someone tap me at the back. I turned, and it was this lady HR, and she was like, "Kasichana, young girl, what level have you reached in school?" I told her, and then she was like, "Tomorrow bring me your papers." So I'm wondering what papers. Okay, but I brought my transcripts and now those 2 experiences of children's home and the chief's camp.
Finally, it appeared. Is it in your CV now? He put it.
So I brought it and I continued being a casual laborer. But after like 2 weeks, the work for casuals had been the sorting of the mangoes was over, and we were at home waiting for something else to crop up. And I saw a phone call. I picked, And I was like, I'm calling the secretary. Hello, I'm calling you from Kevin. You're invited for an interview. I'm like, me? What interview? Okay, so I prepared myself for that day for the interview, and I went. I remember going to the HR and asking her, what interview am I here for? And she advised me, this is what you will say and this is what you will do. We just decided to give you a chance, but you have to go through the process. God's favor.
Wow.
So I was there even being told what to say, because they don't just want to recruit me, they want me to go through the process. And I went through the process, and there I was approved. I was given a position as a clerk.
Really?
In the dispatch department. Yes. Now I was all of a sudden payroll, kamshahara monthly, so no longer being paid weekly and all that. So that is how now I hustled for 2 years. I was a clerk in Kevian and just doing that, and I thought my life was over. I tried saving, but now you see I was supporting my grandmother in the village. I'm in the church. We are giving this. I also started now looking good.
You have to maintain. A clerk cannot look like the mango soda.
Nobody knew I was a clerk. But people thought I was this graduate. The glory of God, the presence of God. And not this time I am serving in church. The Lord has given me favor in church and all that. So fast forward, when we met and we are sharing, I was just expressing my disappointment. And that is why now, to bring you to the point where when he was approaching me, I was feeling like we don't match. This guy was doing his masters in India. Masters in micro, whatever, name them. Those big things. And here I am, a graduate, just serving as a dropout. So serving as a clerk, that was now the best I thought I could ever go, because I don't have papers. You see, even if I decided to move out of Kevin, I didn't know where to go, because these people have just given me this opportunity out of God's grace, purely God's grace. And so I was wondering, is this guy serious, or he want to use me? You know,
this pastor,
this medic, this all that. So I was feeling, in my own way, I was feeling like, please just allow me to be. I don't want pressure. I don't want to try to match up with you. Me, I'm okay being here. So I was expressing my frustration, and I kept on saying, if God allows me, I will go back to school, and I want to do this and this. I want to pursue my dream. Because when I was since when I was a little girl, I kept on saying I wanted to be. I used to do those things using microphone, and I'm hosting, I'm reading news, all those things. And I thought, now this dream is dead.
I have a gift for your teen daughter. Sorry to interrupt the conversation. My name is Flora Kidula, and I present to you this book for my beautiful teen girl. It's a gift challenging the teen girl to have godly values. It talks about many issues that they go through and inspires them to be better teens. See details on the screen of how you can get it. Thank you.
So I didn't know that he was taking that matter with a lot of weight.
Him.
When I was...
You really value education.
One of the gifts that God has given me is the ability to anticipate. I have an ability to see what potential problems might be in the future and be able to try to mitigate them right now before we get there. And so I knew the disparity in academic qualification might one day be a play out in the kind of arguments we have inside marriage. We may be arguing over this glass of water, and she'll be like, is it because you think I am not educated, I'm not learned, all that. And so I always knew in my heart that when God makes it possible, I have to see her finish that, pursuing that dream. Now that she's passionate about it, I'm not the one who is pushing her. Like, you have to go back to school so that you can get to my level. So I always knew that will happen. I just didn't know that it would happen that quick.
So that one touched me. Especially that evening when I came. It was my first day to report after honeymoon to work. And then I come
Now you're still a clerk.
I'm still a clerk, but now they have even increased my salary, because I was good. You know, I'm good.
You know why I'm smiling is because when you are really pursuing your dream, there's a way, I don't know whether it is the devil or God or life, it will come and give you something enticing you. It's not really what you deserve.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
But it is to entice you, to tell you, forget about your dream. When you're just about to move out of it, then they increase you with, let's say, a salary increment of about 5,000.
Yeah.
It can't do much, but you are like, I've stayed here without this. Let me enjoy.
This is where I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
And then you see, we are just starting.
Yes.
And so you would like, at least you have 2 flow of income. It will boost you people.
Yeah.
Now here we are, and he's presenting this option that you choose tomorrow where to report. And this is a dream I've always wanted to achieve. So I was in a dilemma again. Like, you remember the paper he presented when he was approaching me? Dilemma again. Yes, dilemma again.
Yeah.
But then I remembered the prayers I had made concerning that door. I remember I had prayed so much until at some point I told God, I'm not going to pray over this matter again. If it so pleases you that one day I should go back to school, you will wake me up from the dream and tell me it's time to go. So when I remembered all those things, I said, school, I am going to school.
I'm going to school tomorrow.
So I only requested him, allow me to go tomorrow to work and just say thank you to HR, my manager and everyone, because they have been good to me. I didn't qualify, I didn't deserve, yet they gave me this opportunity. They loved me so much. Actually, they supported me in my wedding so much. So much. They actually gave me a whole month off and an unpaid month off, because you see, we went to India for a whole month. A working clerk, I was off. So they had become family. So I requested him, allow me to go and appreciate them. And they also knew my desire to go back to school. Because I remember even in the interview, I was telling the MD, I want you to give me work so that I can save and be able to go back to school. So they knew it. So as much as they felt like we are losing Tracy and she has been so resourceful, they also said, wow, finally God has remembered you. Yani, you mean this guy has married you and he's taking you back to school? Everyone was like, is it real? And okay, of course, some with stereotypes, they were like, he doesn't want you to have your own money. You're being tricked. You're being tricked. But then I knew him. So we took that step of faith. I resigned and now started a life of a student wife. A student pastor's wife. Responsibilities. Like, I entered into marriage with responsibilities. I didn't have to time to just wander around, be angry. I didn't have time to be angry or listen to other women, what they are saying or what. I was busy. I was ushered into marriage with a lot of things to do. So I had work to catch up, because now I joined like 2 weeks later. The other students had already started the introduction part of it. So I started by borrowing notes to catch up with them. And that's how my journey started. 2019 now, school started. And he supported me. Throughout those 4 years I've been in school, I've not worked. I remember there's a time I wanted to do these side businesses, and he was like, no, you're not going to do these things and bring retakes here. Concentrate on your course.
And now, remember, the baby came in the...
Now, the baby... God is a master planner. God is a master planner. 2020, COVID came. COVID hit the country, and schools were closed. And indefinitely. We didn't know for how long. And while we were there, we didn't know for how long. God decided we are not going to waste that time.
This is a good period
for a baby. That's how now our baby came. During COVID. I only appeared in school 3 days when I was pregnant. After COVID subsided, they recalled us to do the exams for the semester. We had been in session, but we didn't get to do the exams because of COVID. So they called us to do the exams and then just close. So I appeared when I was almost 8 months and some weeks. Oh my God, sitting on that desk. Jesus, I was so tired. And then they had scheduled the exams to be like 3 in a day.
You just needed mangoes.
No, I didn't even need mangoes. I just needed to write that paper and finish. I remember my lecturer, my friend called Deki. My things would fall down. I'm not even able to pick. She would come and just pick them for me.
you.
And then going back home, I can't do anything. Now my golden mother-in-law, we live in the same estate, like neighborhood, not far from where we live.
Yeah.
Imagine she would cook for us at her home. Then call my husband, come pick food, because I can't do anything. Like, I'm so tired.
Wow.
My mother-in-law supported this cause. Actually, during my graduation, which was last week, but one, I was appreciating her and I was telling her, thank you for supporting your son. Because you see, many mother-in-laws would have said, what is this? You just married.
Wait, he's the one paying.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is the family money now.
It is him
Paying.
but the mother supported it.
Oh, yeah.
Like she
I'm also thinking, mother-in-law is thinking, that is our money. Our son should be sending us this
I know, or building or doing something, buying land with that money. Because it was a lot of money. Being a self-sponsored student, it's quite a lot of money. And I'm doing nothing apart from schooling. So he's paying the school fees. Home, everything is looking up to him. I have always looked very smart. He has dressed me.
Wow.
He became my father. That's why I was telling you. Like he took
gaps.
that gap because he, not even one day he made me feel like I'm a burden. Or you eat ugali and skuma, I'm using money to pay school fees. No.
Let me ask on behalf of single, are there any other men like him? I'm a bell. The bell. Your belly leash. Oh my God. Hey, someone is single and asking, this sounds too good to be true. And there are so many men who also feel threatened when a wife decides to upgrade or is even promoted at work. What made you so confident in empowering your wife?
Let me say at this point,
yes,
that I had one of those breakups. I had a girl that I paid for her last semester in campus. She had promised me after this, when I get the job, I'll make sure I treat you. And then she went ahead and got the job. And I don't remember
being treated.
So I was also skeptical to some point. Am I going to do this? So while we were courting, I could have taken her to school back then. But there was that fear in my mind. So I decided I'll wait and trust God after we get married. But the greatest motivation was to know that definitely somebody who is feeling accomplished will be a better contributor to the joy and the tranquility in the home than somebody who is not feeling accomplished in life. Because the energy that she has within her is what she's going to bring on the table in the family. So there is no reason why you should feel threatened after you have committed your life to this person. It is in your best interest to get this person to accomplish, to reach self-actualization, so that even when she's coming in the house, she's feeling, an equal partner. She's not feeling like she's a burden. She's feeling like she has accomplished something with her life, and that energy is transferred to you, is transferred to the kids, is transferred to every project that you're going to do in the home. If you don't support your partner, and it doesn't have to be the man supporting the wife, if you don't support your partner to reach self-actualization, you'll be the first casualty of that. And it is in your, again, when you support them, you are the best the first beneficiary of that. So I don't think to me, there is any point in which I would withhold support that I'm supposed to give her to reach her destiny. Some people feel, when this person starts earning more than me and all that, they're going to change. They're going to withhold. They're going to become different. If you love this person, you give them the benefit of doubt. Because if you don't give them that benefit of doubt, now you are the one who is changing on their behalf. You are the one who is becoming all that you thought that she will become or that he would become. The best thing you can do is give them the opportunity to see exactly what they are made of. And if you keep her uneducated or unemployed so that she doesn't change, it's a warped way of thinking, because she already is everything that you're fearing.
Yes.
Minus the opportunity.
Yes.
So what are you preventing from happening? It's not like you have changed whatever it is in her that is waiting for the opportunity to manifest. It's already within her. She's everything that you're fearing. So give her the opportunity and find out what she is. Give him the opportunity and find out what he is.
I have so many questions for you. There's someone who talked to us about that intellectual compatibility in marriage.
Yes.
And they were saying you should not marry someone who is below. You know, for you, it was like you have the hope and dream to take your wife back to school, or to make sure she goes back to school. But there's someone warning men and women, if you have masters, don't marry someone who doesn't have a degree. Don't marry someone who has never gone to campus. So what were your thought process on that?
This is my thinking. A degree or a certificate or a diploma is not a measure of intellect. The measure of intellect is the vision that this person has. So maybe you might have your masters, but you find somebody who is visionary, whether or not they are willing to get the degree. You might also marry somebody who has the degree, but it's from River Road. So you're thinking that you have married an intellect because of the piece of paper that they have. So you listen more to the vision that this person has. I do know of a lecturer who is married to a watchman. And they are doing well because the man is visionary. The things that prevented him from getting his academic papers do not determine his level of intellect. So I would say listen more to the vision. You are able to tell what this person is passionate about. And there is somebody that with just a little support, they might be able to do even more and outdo you in entrepreneurship. So this person may not have the master's degree, but can be a good manager of the resources that you bring with your papers or not, or something of the sort. Listen to that and it will tell you whether you have married an intellect or somebody who is not an intellect. For instance, my grandmother never went to school. She had to drop out, I think, at around class 1 or class 2 to take care of the rest of the siblings. But you know that she's an intellect because even when you crack the hardest of jokes, she will be able to get it. So long as you say it in her language, she will be able to get the joke and she will laugh with you and she will crack jokes of her own. You know, people who get jokes are usually very intellectual. Very intelligent. So you can be able to measure the intellect of a person by other means, not necessarily the academic accomplishments that they have made. And I could tell from the beginning that my wife is an intellect minus the opportunities. And I had to harness into that. So I would join the person who was saying, don't marry somebody who is not an intellectual if you are an intellectual. The only part that I would want to iron out a little bit is there are different ways of measuring whether this person is an intellect or not.
Not necessarily the papers.
The
hardest part going back to school after that break?
For me, first of all, so many things were happening. Now I'm married and I'm like, so I'll be asking like everything. This man will be providing for me everything. Money. I'm used to be independent.
And
see, I'm used to hustling. I know I had an increment, and I'm used to be Miss Independent. I'm not that kind of a person who calls. I don't even have someone to call. So I'm used to going out of my way and footing out my bills and knowing how things will be. But now here I am now. Empty. I have to look up to this man. But I thank God he never made it hard. He never allowed me once to ask him for money. Even for he always ensured he was the first to. He has always ensured he's the one initiating it. So for that part, he made it easy. I was able to adjust. School, wow! I remember the first cut we did. for me, I was telling myself, this is a test whether my mind is still functioning. Because it had been 5 years dropping out, and now my mind is so much occupied with many things, marketplace, and now trying to adjust to a wife, husband.
And the world is telling you don't need papers, you need to be street smart.
Yes, and other people now are also saying that those people who are bringing in the notion of a pastor's wife. Leave alone a wife.
A pastor's wife.
A pastor's wife. Newly wedded woman, girl, and you're now introducing her to pastor's wife. So a lot was happening. And so this cat was Kiswahili for media.
Oh,
Kiswahili for media.
No.
Yes. But let me tell you, I scored 23 out of 30. I was over the moon. I showed everyone that paper, including my bishop. I was so happy. I was like, wow, my mind is still working. I went home so happy like a little girl. And I was like, babe, guess what? I got 23 out of that. I was
and Kiswahili in university.
Kiswahili is hard. It's so hard.
And I was like, yeah, value for money.
Value for your money.
He has always encouraged
the right decision.
Actually, he was usually the first person to check for my grades. Like the portal was in his phone and in my phone. So I was always getting my nini from him, my results from him. He would check. And then I would see him saying, congratulations, you did well. And I'm like, what happened? I'm not even aware that the grades are out. He has encouraged me and was like, now aim for first class. But with this B, eliminate the B. And he has been my cheerleader throughout. Then there came projects and I'm there helping, asking him. And sometimes he's like, you choose. Is it you or me who is in school? Do your work, because I'm like, babe, this and. No, use your brain. You can do it. And sometimes we would argue because he was like, you're refusing to think. Oh. Yeah, sometimes he was tough.
He was now a teacher.
Yeah, he was accountable. He never allowed me to waste even a single chance. I remember now, baby comes. COVID is over, and now we are going to school. We are supposed to be back.
Yes.
Now, nanny issues.
Tell me about it.
My God.
So, and the way you said you were a good nanny at some point.
Yeah, I was.
You don't know how to pick.
The world does not always pay us. We used to pray. Even now, we used to pray for them, and we do the best. You know?
I know.
You know?
No, I know.
I see you talking about them.
You should look at my eyes as I tell you I know.
No. Something weird happened. Okay, we know we are Christians. Spiritually, my perspective, even my dropping out, somehow was spiritually. Like, you know, those things, we won't dive into them because our viewers are from wherever. So we knew this thing is spiritual. You know, there are those people in a family who are background breakers. You have to break from something and so that the others can flow freely. So we knew this battle was spiritual, this education battle. So every time we had a nanny, she would leave
just
2-3 days before the exams, and she would just tell me, I want to go. Something has come up. The whole time I've been in school, after the baby came, our nanny would leave just days before the exam. It's not once or twice my husband had to take an off from work and take care of the baby as I go to do the exams. Because this is the exam. You can't miss. You can't go with the baby. The baby was small. I left the baby at 8 months. Because of COVID, at least I had good time to stay with her. But now she's small. You can't even take her to a daycare or something. He took offs many days. I remember there's this particular time he was preaching in the lunch hours. In our church, we normally have lunch hour services. He was the one preaching. I was doing exam. There's no nanny. So he has taken off from work. Okay, now another responsibility of preaching, and there's a baby. You'd carry the baby. He carried the baby to town. Then went to an office of a friend. Left the baby there for the 40 minutes he's preaching.
That's why our parents always expect us to pay back the things we do.
Left the baby there, went, preached, came back, picked the baby and went home, fed the baby and all that. The mother is doing the exam.
Wow.
Then I finish, I come and join them, we cook. I organize for them clothes for the following day. And then I lock myself somewhere and revise for tomorrow's paper.
Okay, that is the hard part.
That was
it
hard.
needs discipline because it needs discipline.
I remember the times I cried and told, babe, I think I'm done. Do we have to do this thing? Let me just bring up these children. After they are mature, then I'll go back to school. He was like, nothing. There's nothing like that. You will finish on time, right on time. You go to school, I'll take care of the baby. I'll know how to do it. Then there's another friend of mine in the neighborhood. She's called Jane, Mama Cynthia. She told me, never miss school even one day. If the worst comes to the worst, just bring that baby to they have a house help. Her children are big, but they have someone who takes care of the home. Bring the baby here. My nanny will stop anything she's doing and just take care of the baby. You go to school.
Wow.
So that, my mother and my husband, they have made the journey possible. Because there are days I felt like I don't want this anymore. My baby is crying and here I am, responsibilities, assignment, group works. I also want to thank my classmates for the many days I called them. We're supposed to have a group meeting and I'm like, whoa guys, I'm running late because my nanny has decided and I'm waiting probably for babe to go do some things, get permission, then come back and take the baby. Or carry the baby now to that my friend's home. It's a distance. So all those things. Oh my God.
But look at you now.
Yes.
So it is tough, but it is possible.
It is possible. It is doable. God will give you the grace. And also now with a support team, it is doable. Because I think if I didn't have a supportive husband, I think it would have come from him that you drop. You just take care of the home now. This is too much.
You know, in many households, when the two of you have very important things to do, and there's a baby, it's the woman who will cancel her very important. That is the norm, by the way. Like, we don't even argue.
Anyway.
Like, I'm supposed to go to work, you're supposed to go to work, there's a baby, you call your boss.
And that's a misconception because men agree that women are helpers, except when it comes to the home. Because, you see, if her role in my life is that of a helper, then that means these are my babies that she's helping me to take care
first.
of.
Helping you carry.
So I should be more appreciative when she's available to help because she's literally taking my responsibilities. This is my house. I'm supposed to be preparing the meals. She just offered to help. I should be appreciative when she chooses to help. So when she's not available, how do you get angry at somebody who was only coming to help? It was when they are not available to help, you do the work because she was only helping.
She came to help make the house look clean.
Yes.
That's a nice perspective that many men will not agree with. And many women will share that part. It is tough, but it is possible.
And God has a lot of humor. You know, there's a way that you plan your life and you think that, you know, life and God should stick to the program.
Oh, yes.
And there we are getting married. She's in school. So we are like, let's sacrifice these 4 years. You go and graduate. We'll plan life in such a way that on your graduation day, you'll be a few months to delivery and all that. What you don't know is that Christians in your circles now are praying because they are thinking you have delayed so much. There has to be a problem. And when she appears out there pregnant, that is when they were like, we have been praying for you.
You've been praying for me.
They thought there was an issue and we're like,
where have you been praying for? We wanted this baby after 4 years.
Actually to us it was like, oh baby, you're here, huh?
Now how do we proceed? Because this has thrown us off the track. So there's a baby has come and nannies are doing all that and we are like, now we can't keep the schedule. This is going to take us off track. There's one semester that she had to call off because the issues were just too many with the nannies. And again, if I couldn't afford to lose my job because it was the only thing that we were relying on. And it was a huge struggle. How do we recover this time that we have lost? And God is just full of humor that he organizes his plans way better than we can plan ourselves. So now she has graduated. We thought that we will not have the baby until she graduates. But we already have the baby. She has brought so much joy in the house. And she has accomplished what we thought she couldn't accomplish with a baby. And I think when you trust God, it's just such a wonderful thing.
You just let him do
Oh yes. If we had our way in life, probably we wouldn't be seated here. We wouldn't be having this discussion.
Yeah, because there's no challenge.
Yes.
You are just two people in the house, one going to school, one going to work.
Oh, yes. But God allows all things to happen, and if we trust him, everything works out in the end. Yeah.
Wait. Now, a baby comes with the expenses.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Financially, we are all looking at you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey. Now, I understand when men say they have pressure that they don't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have a household, a baby is, by the way.
Yes.
I used to ask my husband, are we financially ready for a baby? I know he will watch this part.
Yeah.
Are we financially ready for a baby? Then he says, Kwani, how much? Kwani diaper, how much are diapers?
You see, there are things I've come to discover about God in my walk with him. You see, when Jesus taught us to pray for our daily bread, that's a very pregnant statement, daily bread. In other words, God will not provide for what you don't need. Until you have it as a need, it may not be there. Even those people who you can say they have like offshore accounts and all that, it's a need. It's only that some of them don't realize that money is supposed to probably be injected back in the economy because there's somebody who needs it. Whatever God has given you is needed today, not tomorrow. It is not needed 10 years from now. So when you have 3 children, God will give you school fees for 3 children. When you have 4 children, God will give you school fees for 4 children. If you decide to adopt 3 more, God will give you school fees for 7 children. And you find it surprisingly, you have educated like 3-4 children. At the end of that journey, you look for the money that you are paying school fees.
Now to build the house.
It's not there. When you're building a house, you need money for cement tomorrow. It will be there. When you finish building, all the money that you are using for cement, now that it is not being used for cement, it's not there.
Someone said, someone was calculating how much beer is and telling people who drink, if you stop drinking, you will save this much per day and build a house. Then someone commented and said, you who doesn't drink,
show us your house. Sure.
So for daily bread is there.
Give us our daily bread.
Wow.
So when you have it as a need, God will provide it.
Wow.
Amen.
Yeah, so like we saw God come in big ways, and we were asking ourselves, where was this money? Like right now, he's not paying the school fees. The other day he was making fun. God made sure that he always paid the next semester before. Like, he used to pay a semester
in advance.
So we were making fun the other day. Where is that money? We save it in advance. Like, it's not there. But because when we needed it, and there's one thing we didn't say. We also experienced a miracle.
Oh, yes.
There's a semester we never paid with our money, and we don't know who paid it. We don't know. And the money reflected in my account, school account. We waited. We actually paid for that semester just to ensure this is not an error. But still the money continued reflecting. I have used it the last semester after it has stayed for 2 years, just reflecting and reflecting. 78,000. We don't know who paid.
You never asked for help?
No.
We didn't. Nobody have our had
Your
my
account.
details.
Yeah. Serious?
Yes. So we waited and waited to see if this error will be corrected.
I'm shocked.
Yes. So it has. I have used it the very last semester to pay for internship and all that. Actually, I've used it to pay for my graduation, and I will go for refund. I will go to claim.
And no one ever came and said...
No one up to now.
Yeah.
So the testimony here is I had dropped out because of school fees issues. But then when the Lord restored this dream, when the Lord restored this fortune, we never lacked.
Even the surplus you're going
There was surplus.
refund.
Yes.
God did it miraculously that I will go for a refund. The girl who could not pay even hostel
And it's not
fee.
that chief,
Yeah.
not that senator.
No, it is not.
You don't know her. We stick to
You
you.
know, he didn't even know I joined school.
It cannot
He
be.
didn't even know that I joined school.
I hope it is not.
The money didn't even reflect like where it came from. It only shows the day, like the time. But
Wow.
Or maybe to put it this way, she dropped out of school because there was no money for school.
Yeah.
And right now she's out of school and there
there's
is
money.
money in school. Should she want to go for her master's,
Yeah.
there is already a down payment.
Imagine.
Yeah.
that is what God does.
Wow.
Now, my mentor, who is my best lady, Pastor Florence Kamau, when I was going through that dark season, she came to me. She found me seated back at the church, and I was just feeling low and all that. And she greeted me, and then she was like, "This is what the Lord is telling me. Your marital door will open before your career door. But when that marital door opens, you will go to school and study until you say enough."
Enough. Wow.
But then I was like, what are you saying? Because nothing reflected that. There was no hope. I was still not seeing any light. But God has fulfilled that word. Because now immediately after our wedding, I went back to school. And you see the way the journey has been smooth. And the other day he was telling me, with now my qualification, I can directly apply for masters.
Oh, yeah.
But then I'm like, I'm tired. Allow me to breathe. Allow me to breathe.
Buana.
So God is faithful. God is true. Just hold on. To someone who is feeling like giving up,
Yeah.
don't give up. If you truly believe in this God, just hold on. Even if you don't see the end, you don't even kind of see where you're headed, just hold on. God is faithful. He comes. He comes. For me, I have witnessed God. You hear, I have a refund in KU. Yani, I will go to finance as I return my gown and come back home with money. Glory be to God. That is how God does. That is why Psalms 126, the Bible records that when the Lord restored our fortunes, we were like those who dreamt. That is me. Sometimes, many days I was coming back from school and I would cry in matatus. I was like, natoka wapi? I'm coming from school. Me? Sometimes I had to pinch myself. I'm in that dear. How? I finished my attachment. How? I finished my internship. God kept on proving his faithfulness day after day, day after day until now. And we give him all the glory. Yes.
Amen.
Amen.
As we wind up, maybe to a hopeless couple, maybe the straining is too much financially, and other factors that strain marriages. There's a season he was now out of the country while you're in school. You need to tell us about that.
Yes. That was a difficult moment. Actually, I was interceding for my house girl every morning because I was like, if she dares leave, I don't know what to do. I have no backup. Because you see, when he's around, I knew there's a backup. If she leaves, then I know someone will step in. But now for the 6 months he was away, I was just telling God, please help this girl. And for sure, God did. Can you imagine? The girl left 2 days
2 days before I came
before
back.
he came back.
Who's laughing now?
She was all good. She took care of my baby. I was able to study effectively. They bonded with my girl. I remember now when he was coming back, he was like, "Hey, you guys, we go out and just have some time and bond."
Yeah.
We even paid for that girl for the trip. We had booked everything for her. But then 2 days before, she was like, I want to leave. I'm like, we even have booked for you. So wait, you go and enjoy and then come and go. No, I want to leave now. 2 days she left.
And he came
but then my
back.
husband was back. and I was like, thank you, Jesus.
When they write a book on long distance marriage, you should take a page. How was it for your marriage? You should take a page.
It was bitter and sweet because of course, the benefits that we were getting from the trip.
Mm-hmm.
But then my daughter was about 2 years old.
Oh.
And that's the time I think that she needed me most. So it came to a point where she even stopped being excited about my calls. I would call and she doesn't want to answer. She was angry, and I knew now I just have to wind up what I was doing there and come back. Yeah.
Because that time they're learning how to say daddy.
Oh, yes.
And
Yeah.
Also, she would run, in church, she would run to every man.
tell me about it. Tell me about it. Well, sometimes I just hear daddy. It was someone passing.
It made me emotional.
It can.
Especially now our friends, male friends, the ones, family friends, she was always clinging to them.
Yeah.
She's there, and I'm like, I know what is disturbing this
she's
girl.
missing her daddy.
She's missing her daddy. She would literally run to those men and just lift her hands. But they were good to her.
Yeah.
They always embraced her. But deep down my heart, I was like, oh God, I pray for single mothers. Like, I literally felt their pain and struggle, and I told God, help me to be kind to them and never to take anything for granted. Yes, so that is a lesson I learned, to pray for a single mom or someone who have lost a husband and they are raising children. Those children, the gap they feel, I saw it with my daughter. I saw the tantrum she would throw when I'm talking to daddy and she didn't want anything to do with him. And then, so when he came back, he had quite some work to do to restore
the bond.
Yes.
To seek for forgiveness. What don't people know about a pastor's marriage? Or what do we miss?
That it's a normal marriage like any other, despite the responsibilities. It's only that you are in the limelight and people are seeing you more, so you attract more battles because everybody wants to have an opinion of how you should live and how you should dress and how you should how your wife should dress and all those things, how her hair should look like now that she's a pastor's wife. But we are human beings. That's what we are. And marriage is as much as marriage, the foundation of it is spiritual, and you have to deal with things spiritually. The greater percentage of marriage is not spiritual. Is very carnal. You have to do things here in this world, not up there in the spirit, and then you come back. And so we go through the challenges like every other person will go through. It's only that when you feel like hitting something or saying a few words out of your mind, then you're not permitted to do that because you are a pastor. But we experience the same things that everybody else experiences. And when it comes to marriage, it will not respect your calling, it will not respect your relationship with God. It will not respect the fact that you speak in tongues, the fact that you worship until fire comes down. It will respect that you follow the laws of marriage. You have to listen like every other person. You have to communicate like every other person. You have to be there. You know, the effects of an absentee father are the same, whether the father is absent drinking or outside preaching the gospel.
Ouch.
So
oh no.
So you have to make time to be there for your family, and if you do that, it will work. If you don't, It will treat you the way it treats drunkards and robbers and everyone else. Yes.
Someone asked me this question. It has just come. It wasn't part. What are Christians doing wrong? I think for this month of July, this show will be aired in August, but the month of July, I have encountered so many. Actually, people I know that I really wanted to interview. So I approach you and you're like, oh, we're no longer together.
Yeah.
That thing breaks my heart,
Yes.
because from where I sit, if I see you two on social media, I'm like, I want that.
Yes.
Then I remember, oh, Pastor Felix, I need to interview these guys. Then I call you and you're like,
you're no longer together.
That thing this July, that has been my...
Christians are simply not taking responsibility. They are pushing things to God that they should do. They want God to do everything for them. But then there are things that God has already done, and there are things that God will never do for you.
He's our all in all.
But there are things you must do for yourself. God loves your husband, but he can't love him for you. He can love him through you, but he cannot love him for you. You have to be there to love your husband. God loves your wife, but he's not going to love her for you. You must be willing to be used as a vessel for God to communicate that love to her. If you're not available, then you're going to fail miserably. This whole thing of even when we are praying, we are like, Father, help us to do this, or Father, give us this. There are some things that God will not give you. There are some things that he will not do for you because he expects you to do them for yourself. All this, even when we are repenting, we're always telling God, Father, cleanse me, Father, sanctify me. But what does it say in James? It says, cleanse your hands, you sinners, and you double-minded. You cleanse yourself. He came to Moses and he was saying, remove your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground. This prophet came to the house of Jesse and he was like, sanctify yourselves and come with me to the feast. There are some things that we need to do, but we keep asking God to do them. God, change my husband. God, change my wife. God, do this. We are supposed to take up responsibilities. In fact, it is heartbreaking to find that non-believers and non-Christians are having more wonderful marriages than Christians. We were surprised with my wife. We used to live it somewhere that there was this couple that used to fight and quarrel. And we met with somebody who lives in the same place, and we were like, are they still there? And we were like, yeah, they are still there.
5 years later.
5 years later.
Still
they fight on a weekly basis.
But they're not giving up on each other.
And they literally fight.
Literally fight. The whole neighborhood would come to rescue them, but 5 years later, they are still fighting. Maybe we thought they are fighting their marriage, but maybe they are fighting for their marriage.
There's another one who told me where they lived. They had one I think they were fighting at night. So the entire apartment, everyone is there trying to sort them out. And the next day they see them holding hands.
That's what used to happen with that couple.
Maybe you interviewed our neighbor.
The next day they're holding hands and they're like, we woke up for these ones. We'll never wake up again. These ones they need to stay.
So those people, and then there is this whole misuse of words. There is a lot of misuse of the word narcissist happening these days. So when you don't want to take responsibility for your marriage, you simply label your spouse as a narcissist and say he or she cannot be helped. They are that way, nothing can be done, and it's a code for giving up on your marriage. There is a responsibility that you can take. I tell you the truth, every person who has gone through divorce, they know something either they or their partner could have done differently. Could have done differently. If only we had the courage to do those things, we would save a lot of marriages. In fact, there is somebody who is not speaking to their spouse for the last maybe 2 weeks or a month right now, but they know one thing they can do. and it will restore the communication.
Ego.
Yeah, but we are not willing to do
My
that.
pride
We want
and ego.
God to come and do that because we are Christians. Unfortunately, He will not. And God is as pained as we are about this, but His hands are tied because He has done what He was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Now it's up to us to do what we are supposed to do.
I think you have answered. Yeah, she has also had. You have answered.
Yeah.
So it's not, we shouldn't throw away the principles of marriage
Oh, yeah.
in the name of we are born again.
Oh, yeah. Now, why would you stay away from the bedroom for 5 months, for 6 months, and say that you are praying? What are you praying for? God to come and do?
God can never do that.
He can do that for
That
you.
is you. That one God can.
You are the one who is supposed to do it, so there's nothing God can do for you.
Go back.
He
to
has
the
done
bed.
what He was supposed to do. He gave you everything that you needed.
Yeah.
If you are not taking care of yourself, you are letting yourself go.
Yeah.
You're not taking care of your body. You're not taking care of your dressing. You're not taking care of this. What will God do? He's not going to dress for you. He's not going to
Brush your teeth.
brush your teeth. He's not going to take a shower on your behalf. You can cleanse yourself with the blood of Jesus and smell nicely.
No.
There are things that we must do, and that's where we are failing.
Wow.
God has not failed marriages. Christians have failed God in marriages.
Ooh. We have to end there.
Okay.
You're parting short. Wow. This woman.
After
was
he
gone-
speaks,
I know.
I'm left just digesting.
We'll ask him for one sentence after you speak.
I'm left digesting and
Yeah.
thinking through. But yeah, personally, I've also been so much broken with the stories you're hearing of friends and all that. And you know, when I hear that, I tremble.
Yes.
Because the Bible says, watch, when you think you're standing, watch, lest you fall. So when I hear that, I tell God, oh God, help me.
Yeah.
Help our marriage. Help us. So that we might not think we are standing, kumbe, we might sleep the next.
Yeah.
So we continuously commit ourselves to God. As much as there is a part for us to play, there is also the spiritual realms that is fighting godly marriages. Because the Bible says that godly marriages to raise godly offspring.
Yeah.
And the devil is not happy when we are raising godly offspring. So he would want to throw us off balance. So we have to balance. Do your part, dress nicely, keep yourself well, but also commit your marriage to the Lord
God.
in prayer. Don't just brag in showing off. You know, our problem as young couples, we want to, it's like a competition of who is doing better.
Yeah.
Who is competing with, after all?
But then sometimes in marriage, no one cares. No one. It's you two working
yes.
your
It's
marriage.
you, and you know
Whether
the
you
truth.
are in matching outfits, we will see that post, like it, and we move.
We move on, and probably you just like that. You didn't even concentrate.
Yeah.
But you can pose with those matching outfits, but you know, deep down, you know.
You are not matching.
You know, beyond the matching outfits.
You are
There's
not
nothing
matching.
There's nothing else matching.
Yeah.
So I always tell God, help me that from the inside, Lord, a river of life and love and joy will flow to the glory and honor of your name. So committing unto the Lord and knowing that God is the first. The first one you are accountable to. That's why we used to say that, we normally say that, like, I might go out there and choose to do whatever, but he might not even know, he might not even see me, but I'm accountable to my God. If I remain accountable to God, then it will be so easier for me to be faithful to him. Wherever he is, wherever I am, because I know my number one accountability partner who I'm supposed to answer to is
God
always with
watching.
me and watching.
Wow, thank you. Hey, you have to finish with a sentence.
Yeah, sure.
I'll say this, fight for your marriage, because marriage has been fought from the beginning. The first murder we find it in the context of a family. The first sin we find it in the context of a family. Families have been fought from day one. It was the first institution that God created and has been fought from that day. And there is nothing easy about marriage. People will be fought when they are just about to enter into marriage. Everything will be flowing smoothly. When you declare that you have found somebody you want to get married, then battles begin. Marriage will be fought in the middle. When you think that you have crossed over, now comes in-laws issues, comes financial issues, comes issues to do with the children. Some people are not getting children. Some people have gotten children that have become troublesome to them. The devil will never cease to fight families. He will never cease to fight marriages. And therefore, we must constantly fight for our marriages on our knees. We must obtain victory for our families and our marriages. Cover your family, cover your children, cover your husband, cover your spouse. Rise up, pray, intercede, make declarations, go deep, find out the things that have been fighting marriages in your family throughout. Maybe you are thinking that the issues you are facing are unique to you, but you discover that if you are to do a background check, that maybe there is an uncle whose marriage was fought the same way, an aunt, maybe a cousin, maybe a relative, you find that we have deep things that are fighting marriages that we must deal with. And thinking that I will save my marriage only is a problem, because until I deal with that thing, that demon that fights marriages in our families, then I may not be able to overcome on my own. Pray for that marriage of your neighbor that is in trouble, because when the devil is down there, guess where he's coming next? He's coming to yours. So let's rejoice when marriages stand. Let's support each other's marriages. Let's make sure that there is no demon fighting marriages within our churches, within our communities. Fight for the marriages of your friends. Let's keep the devil out of business in fighting families and fighting marriages. And then we are going to conquer.
I just wanted you to continue. We are done. Well, maybe you can mention your church if someone is in Thika and they're looking for a place to fellowship.
We fellowship and minister at Destiny Worship Center Thika. We are located on Kenyatta Highway next to the Thika High School Junction under Bishop Titus Mbai, and our services run every Sunday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And we look forward to seeing you there if you're in Thika or if you're visiting there. God bless you so much.
Lunch hour, I'm interested. You talked about lunch hour prayers. I love those ones.
We have lunch hour services happening at our town church, the third floor on the building that hosts Maguna Supermarket. We begin from 12:45 and we wind up just a few minutes before 2. To allow you to go back to your office and resume your responsibilities.
Oh, that's in
every
town.
Every day from Monday to Friday.
And morning glory.
And morning glory services just before you enter your office. If you are in town early enough, you can step into the church and there will be somebody there praying with you just to a few minutes before 8, and then you get to your office and start work.
Thank you. So if you're in Thika, that's a place you can fellowship and worship. Thank you so much. That was really good. I feel refreshed and empowered to continue being an awesome wife. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. May the Lord cover your marriage. May the Lord cover your family. When we expose the goodness of the Lord, the devil sees, wale wanasema. So we are praying for cover over your family and your marriage. Thank you so much. God bless you. Looking forward to come for your master's graduation. Amen. Say amen.
Amen. PhD. Right now, the current PhD is preaching, healing, and deliverance. But
bye. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Let us know what you've learned. And any other couple you'd like us to host, let me know. My number is always on the description of my videos. God bless you. See you next time. Bye.